So back in 2014, the Longhorn Alumni Band was actually invited by the City of London to come and participate in the New Year's Day parade. And so I love a stage, I love a moment, I love the idea of getting to strut through Oxford Circus in a cowboy hat, and so I thought, who could I invite with me on this journey? And of course, Andy was the first person who came to mind. So I gave him a call, and I asked him if he wanted to dust off his piccolo and come and join me on this adventure, even though he wasn't in the Longhorn Band to begin with. And so of course, Andy, based on his personality, he said yes immediately. And so we started planning for this adventure. Now simultaneously, Constance and Leigh were actually also planning a New Year's trip of their own. So Leigh and I were pulling this couple apart from each other, but Constance and Leigh's trip was actually this backpacking journey across Peru. So there couldn't really have been more different of set of trips being planned out. So while Andy and I were checking in for our platinum level Scotch tasting experience in Edinburgh, Constance was sending us photos of the gorgeous views from their hostel. So really, very different traveling styles. And so those of you who know me probably are wondering, why does this actually matter? Why is this important, right? And I think for me, it helped me to realize that even though we had separated this couple by continents, right, they were many, many miles away, they still were able to spend New Year's together digitally. They made sure to share their experiences with each other while also paying attention to two people who care about them very much. And so I think that's really special, and it's something that's very consistent between these two folks here. And so again, the reason this moment is really impactful for me is because I think it helped me to realize why these two people are a perfect match, right? Like why they actually go together is they care about others around them, they care about each other, and they will make it work no matter what. And so I think that's really, really special. So yeah, let's raise a glass to Andy and Constance. Love them very much. Cheers.
I also wanted to say a few words.
Just when the music started.
I'm Hannah. I am Andy's little sister. I'm pretty sure everybody knows by now. But yeah, so Andy is my big brother. We are 3.5 years apart. I've always looked up to him, not only because he's taller than me, but yeah, I joined band just like he did, except that I played a brass instrument because being in the woodwind section was too feminine for me. Yeah, I could do more push-ups than a lot of the guys in the brass section, which is something I was very proud of. However, though, Andy and I are very different. I am really into shopping and makeup and girly things, and I'd always hang out with my mom. My mom always joked, she always asked me, Hannah, do you wish you had a sister? I never bothered. I thought Andy was an awesome brother. Obviously, I followed in his footsteps a lot. No, Mom, I don't need a little sister. I like being the princess. Yeah, but fast forward to today, I feel like if I was to ask that again, Mom, I don't need a little sister from you. Andy already found me one. Yeah, so welcome to
everybody was giving speeches, and I was thinking about, well, what's a story I could tell. So I haven't known Andy the longest. We probably haven't spent the most time with people who've lived with him. But one thing that sticks out when I think about Andy and Constance is that they're very giving and very generous with their friends, and not only with inviting people over and cooking food for them, but also just sharing their time. I used to spend a lot more time at Andy's place, and then I had a kid, and one thing I always appreciated, he never gave me a hard time about kind of dropping off the face of the earth. He always found the time to come see me where I was, and I always really appreciated that. Anybody who's ever been to a barbecue at Andy's place knows it's always lit. Sometimes the house gets too lit and catches on fire. That's a good time. But yeah, I think both Andy and Constance tend to, great people gravitate around them, and I think that speaks a lot to their character and their personalities. People want to be around them. And they're kind of the nexus of a lot of groups of friends. And, so anyways, I appreciate having you in my life. I'm sure everybody else. Just want to say cheers.
Constance and I both work for startups and have been in the startup life for a long time. And we spend a lot of time commiserating about how hard it is to be in a startup and how much you have to work and commit to that. And I think that Constance has really found herself a partner that really allows her to lean in to her work. Andy's always there to support her. He makes sure she's fed in the morning. He does the laundry when she works really late at night or has to work on the weekends. He gets up really early to walk brisket so she can get in a few more precious moments of sleep. And he does all of this so that Constance can really climb that corporate ladder.
Make that money.
So I just wanted to say, let's raise a glass to Constance the badass and her house husband, Andy.
Yo.
I don't know what you guys So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Phil. I'm one of the groomsmen. And I do consider it, so of all my distinguished groomsmen, I do feel, I'd say honored is the right word to say I've known Andy the longest. I think it gives me a fairly unique perspective from the days back when we were just kids in high school to our wild days in college, to which, there's a few stories, like, the time we got in trouble because we're playing Madden too loud in the dorm room, or when we were playing Halo and some kid's mom came on because I was swearing at a 12-year-old. And I know a lot of you are thinking like that, Phil, that really didn't sound very wild at all. And to that, I'd say you're right. We were honor students. Our lives weren't that interesting. And thanks for the reminder. But as the years have kind of gone by, it's been pretty amazing to see Andy grow as a person, not only just on his own, but see how much he's grown because of Constance. And I'm very, very much looking forward to what the next 15 years are going to look like, and to be able to have that perspective and be able to say I knew them way back when. So raise your glasses to Andy and Constance. Cheers.
Hi, I'm Lay. I'm one of the bridesmen, and so I've known Andy for about 10 years, and I think the most memorable story I have from that internship from me and Andy was we went on a hike to Mount Rainier, and they told us to bring sunglasses because there's so much snow on the mountain and it's so bright that you can literally go blind from snow blindness. And so I went up this mountain with these really expensive sunglasses I bought from the ranger station, and Andy was like, I'm gonna be fine. And so we get to the end point of our hike, and Andy's like, I can't see anything. And so in the years since I've known Andy, I could never convince him to go on a hike ever again until he met Constance. And so I think two of the biggest trips I've ever done, Andy and Constance were both there, and how I convinced Andy was I told Constance, hey, let's go on this very exclusive hike. It requires some sort of lottery to win, or there's a limited number of slots per day. And so Constance was like, yeah, we have to go. And then Andy would invariably go every time. And so it's kind of how you know someone loves someone else, is that they're willing to do something that they really might not find very pleasant or be willing to do. So thank you guys for being there, and many more adventures later.
Here goes. I've known Andy for 4.5 years, and he's one of my best and first friends in Seattle. Our friendship has been full of practical jokes, like that time he came to work dressed as me on Halloween. Or that time I played his piano keyboard and his house burned down. Now at this point, you may be asking yourselves, he's faced with a dilemma. Does he sleep on my dog bed, or does he move in with Constance? He's always been great with long-term investments. However, from the ashes of his house and his belongings, through a beautiful partnership that we're all honored and excited to celebrate with you guys today. And also an 8x11 framed picture of your house on fire. Just a quick reminder. So everyone join me in toasting the soon-to-be newlyweds, and honestly really me as well for helping accelerate this marriage. So to Andy and Constance, cheers.
Hi everybody, I'm Kevin. I'm one of Constance's groomsmen. Bridesmen. I'm not one of her groomsmen. Definitely a bridesman. I actually went to high school with Constance, but we weren't really friends in high school. We were friends in Seattle. The first weekend that she moved to Seattle, we got brunch, and then afterwards Constance goes, "You want to help me with some furniture?" And we go back to her place, and I literally spent hours building an entire IKEA bed for Constance with drawers. So many drawers. But over the next few months, Constance and I became really, really close. I was young and foolish, so Constance was kind of a relationship therapist for me. And Constance hates driving, so I was kind of her Uber driver. So over many bowls of ramen that Constance was like, we should go eat ramen again, we would talk about our love lives and what we wanted and what was going poorly. And even after I moved to New York, we would still schedule video chats with each other to talk about these things, and we just text each other like, I need to talk about this, or this thing happened and I need you to explain to me what's going on. And over time, I realized that kind of just needed to happen less and less. I realized when Constance told me that she was engaged to Andy that we hadn't really had one of those talks in years. It was just, how are things? Things are good, things are happy. And so I think marriage is kind of a celebration that you found someone that brings you so much joy that you don't need to call your friend to complain about them. Ever. So please raise a glass and celebrate finding someone. Cheers.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, guys. First of all, let's give a round of applause to this beautiful couple here. They look amazing. Yeah. I'm so happy to be here. I'm actually a new mom, so this is great being around adults, having adult conversations. This is wonderful. You can ask my husband. He's having a great time. Constance and I have actually known each other for over 12 years. I was doing the math the other day. 12 years is a long time. And remembering how we met, I actually have to credit Constance's mom. And she was the one who actually introduced us at Stanford, day one, freshman year. Her mom came up to my mom and told my mom all about Constance, how she was from New York, how she was, excited about Stanford for the first time. And then when my mom told me that there was another mom who had approached her and told her all about this cool girl who was living down the hall, I felt like we were instantly family. Constance has been there for all of the big moments in my life. We were roommates sophomore year, and one of the things that I admire most about her is her openness and excitement in meeting new people. Living together sophomore year, our door was always open, and we had lots of serenades and people coming in our door and playing pranks on us. But most importantly, Constance was there when I first met my husband. And it was because our door was open, it was because she was very welcoming. She kind of broke me out of my introvert shell. And because of that, my husband, Dave, walked in the room and we had a conversation, and here we are now. So Constance, thank you so much for that. Constance embodies all of the wonderful values, and one of the most things that I think I appreciate the most is how she makes everyone feel like family when you're around her. And then there's Andy. When I first met Andy, Andy actually also made me feel a lot like family. He treated me to this wonderful barbecue dinner. And the first night that I stayed at their place, I will never forget, because I was treated to this middle of the night Master Chef floor. I was sleeping on the floor right next to their kitchen, and I saw Andy come in at midnight, and he would start cutting up the meat, prepping it, and then at 1 a.m. starting to salt the meat, and at 2 a.m. come back in and start, I don't know, like slamming the meat on the counter. But he spent so much love and care to kind of create this barbecue for me and for all the friends that were coming the next day, and that made me feel so much like I was part of, their family that they were creating. And then finally, you guys should know I'm competing against Jonathan for the longest speech here. You can't talk about them without their baby, Corgi brisket. And even Corgi, their Corgi brisket has a way of kind of, being a part of our family. Their Corgi brisket is so great that even my mother-in-law, who's never met brisket, follows him on Instagram, knows all about his habits, his likes, his dislikes. She asks me for an update every time that I'm with Constance and Andy. And so even their little baby dog has kind of created this external family around him as well. So Constance and Andy, I'm so excited that you guys are finally making it official, becoming this, literal family. But I know you guys have included so many other people in kind of your external family. Cheers to that.
Great. But now I'm gonna have my own moment. So if you haven't met me yet, I'm Tara. I went to college with Connie, and I call her Connie and not Constance. But I thought it was better to say Andy and Connie than Constance and Anstance. But when I met Connie in college, we lived together as housemates and roommates with Kristen as well. And she's always been the most mature and collected and poised one of all of my friends. She was not only an academic achiever to the highest degree, but she also participated in the most competitive and intense sports team, if not like a physical endurance and definitely social endurance. The ultimate players out here. I don't know if you're here tonight. But even though she had her fair share of mischief, she completed all the amazing things that she did in college while also studying in 3 different countries and taking on all the responsibilities of being a very good friend. She cheered us on when we were in the spotlight. She coached us through broken hearts and also helped us procrastinate when we were trying to finish that last paper that we had to do and just needed to push it out at night. So her ability to care for her friends really shined when I was visiting her for the first time in Seattle. She had promised to show me all the sights, and especially her guy that she was starting to see, Andy. When I went there, she had planned a morning for us at a very new and very special coffee shop. A very special coffee shop. So we went, and then we had plans to meet with Andy after. We had our coffee and met him at maybe what was a sports bar? Buffalo Wild Wings. Whatever it is. But quickly I noticed that my very strong cup of coffee was hitting me, and I couldn't handle it any longer, and I wasn't actually going to get to talk to Andy at all that evening, or that morning. It was a long morning after that cup of coffee. So Constance and Andy both stepped up and decided that we need to just get you home. So they took me home to Constance's apartment, tucked me into bed, gave me a big old teddy bear, a remote to the TV, some water and snacks, and said, "It's okay, we're gonna be able to catch up later, don't worry about it." That small piece of our friendship has really spoken to me as a moment that shines as something that when you see your friends in trouble or when you see that they need your help, you're willing to jump forth and do something to help them. And Andy, I was a complete stranger to you, yet you came and saved me from that moment. And we're willing to just scrap our day of going around Seattle and take me home and care for me. I'm so glad to have you as a friend in my life, Connie. And I'm so glad you found someone who is as caring and thoughtful as you are and who will take care of you in the years to come. I'm really excited for tomorrow and also for your future together. And love you so much. Thank you for taking care of all of us by organizing this whole event and giving us a mini vacation while also being able to celebrate your love and having you in our lives.
Hi everyone.
I'm stage right.
I'm Jake. I live in Seattle. That's where I met Constance and Andy. If you know me, you know I like to talk, and I talk a lot, especially when I'm drinking. And I think we've had at least 10 sips now. But I'll try to keep it short. I've known Constance and Andy actually I've known Constance longer, but I've known them mostly when they were together. I've known them as a couple, and nearly the entire time I've known them as a couple, they don't really have too much PDA, not too many public displays of affection, thank goodness. But you knew that they loved each other. There was one moment though that really shined and like exemplified how much they love each other, how much they trust each other. Though it's a little embarrassing. Not for me, luckily. It was a Friday night, and we'd all gotten together, Andy, Constance, at Eden's place. We were just getting together to unwind after work. We're all software engineers, and apparently that's a stressful job. And Eden presented kind of a problem to us. She pulled out about a dozen bottles with about an ounce or two of alcohol left in them. We had an idea of how to solve this problem. So the night was going pretty well, and things were great. We got some Buffalo Wild Wings.
What is happening?
Really spicy Buffalo Wild Wings. When something horrible happened, and the first thing I heard was Constance screaming Andy's name. It was almost by intuition, because I turned and I see Andy going from standing upright to face planting. And this was a somber moment for all of us. We took it very seriously. Andy recovered, but we took him to urgent care just to make sure everything was all right. It was in this moment I learned two things. One, stay hydrated. Turns out severe hydration can make someone pass out. So everybody, there's a glass of water in front of you. And two, how much trust these two have in each other. In his disoriented state, Andy literally looked to Constance at every moment for confirmation on what should be done. He knew that Constance would take care of him. And when the doctor asked him questions, he would answer and then look to Constance and say, right? So even without all of those public displays of affection, that moment showed me how much they really trust and care for each other. And I hope that we all can have that kind of love in our lives. Cheers. Andy and Constance.
Hi everyone. I know what you're all thinking. I'm the 12th person to speak tonight, so I'm going to keep it short and sweet. And I'm almost empty, so forgive me if I make a fool out of myself. But for those that do not know me, I am Constance. I'm Crystal. Constance's sister. I clearly have had a little bit too much. And her maid of honor. I've known her for over 30 years. Not by choice. You know, she's the baby of the family, baby sister. Everyone loves her to pieces. And when she said that she was going to get married, everyone was kind of like, wait, are you really ready to grow up right now? Like, you're really going to get married? Of course, our parents are very worried. You know, she's on the other side of the country, and no one's going to take care of her. So I visited Constance quite a few times when she moved to Seattle, and she has really grown up from a little baby girl moving there for college, and then moving to another state for work, and then, you know, finding Andy. So I think the past 6 years that I visited Constance, Andy was always there by her side. And the one thing that I would always remember every time I go is that one time when, I think it was probably when I was working third year out of college. Constance was just learning to drive by herself. And all of a sudden I get a call from her on my work phone. She's crying. And, you know, obviously as sister instinct, like, what happened? And she goes, took the ramp and I got on the highway. Those that don't really know Constance knows that she doesn't really like to drive. So I'm glad that Andy is there for her now, as her chauffeur, and that she has also found her forever partner. So,
Cheers.
Don't you worry then, my honey, we might not have any money, but
This is the first day of my life. Swear I was born right in the doorway. I went out in the rain, suddenly everything changed. They're spreading blankets on the beach. Yours is the first face that I saw. I think I was blind before I met you. And I don't know where I am, I don't know where I've been, but I know where I want to go. So I thought I'd let you know. Yeah, these things take forever, I especially am slow. But I realized that I need you, and I wondered if I could come home. Remember the time we drove all night just to meet me in the morning? And I thought it was strange, you said everything changed. You felt as if you just woke up. And you said, this is the first day of my life. I'm glad I didn't die before I met you. But now I don't care, I could go anywhere with you, and I'd probably be happy. So if you wanna be with me, these things there's no telling, we just have to wait and see. But I'd rather be working for a paycheck than waiting to win the lottery.
best man, and also I live in his basement. Apparently, nowadays, that's all you need. It's just a little bit of pay him rent, and you can be best man. So in all seriousness, I'm really honored to be here and talking to you all. I just want to take a minute and thank all the people who made all of this possible. Constance Andy, you all have been working on this for, I can't even remember the last time you weren't. So, and it's beautiful and we love it. Special shout out to Hannah with this amazing calligraphy that you guys see in front of your names. Beautiful. So I've learned a lot of things with my friendship with Andy. And tonight I want to kind of share a few of those lessons with you. I first met Andy when we were both at Microsoft. We had a lot of mutual friends and we knew each other for a while and we definitely hung out in group settings, but we didn't really hang out one-to-one until a lot of those mutual friends left the city and went to places like San Francisco. When we reached that level of friendship, though, it was really amazing how quickly we clicked. It really kind of upset me that I never noticed that we had these connections because there were so many other people that were just in the way. So that's kind of the first lesson, is sometimes the people that are closest to you, who can be your closest friends, are right under your nose. And to think about those people and say hello to them and wish them well and spend more one-on-one time with your friends. So, one of the things that we originally bonded on was our mutual love of food. Andy and I have been known to sneak off and eat all sorts of goodies, whether it be every McDonald's chicken nugget we can find, or hiding in an alley eating otoro in a Kyoto market because we didn't want to share it with Constance and Eden. One time when we were in London together, we put our names down at Dishoom, which is a really popular Indian restaurant, and it had like a 2-hour wait. So we're like, we're hungry now, so we go to a steakhouse, and you have a pre-dinner steak, a whole ribeye, and then we go to Dishoom and eat a whole full Indian meal. And the only lesson I have there is to enjoy the things in life that make you happy. And keep someone around that will keep you in check. Luckily, Andy has Constance, because I don't do that for him. It was the morning after the best brisket I've ever had in my life that I got a text from Andy that his house had burned down in the middle of the night. It felt really surreal. A lot of us that are here were there that night. And we played a game of Terra Mystica that Andy definitely cheated at. We spent all night punching out these pieces for a board game that we never got to play. And we are all just so lucky that they had fire alarms with batteries in them that warned them of the fire and allowed them to escape. And while I'm sure that it was a truly terrible experience for Andy and all the hardship that he had to go through with that, the following months really showed me a lot about his character, his resiliency in the face of adversity, to be ready for literally anything that came his way. And of course, a lot of that is because of Constance. She was with him every step of the way and really helped him out, got him back on his feet. So, lesson number 3, keep a fire extinguisher in every room in your house, check them because they expire, and make sure all of your fire alarms have batteries. And also, more importantly, treat your material things as just that, just things. It's the people you are with and the people that you love that are most important. My mom used to always tell me that your friends should be people you look up to, people who will help you grow, people that you can count on in your times of need. Andy was there for me during the hardest time of my life, and he helps me grow every single day in my career, in my relationships, and I not only look up to him as a friend, but also as a model of how working hard, caring, and perseverance are really great things to find in a life. So let's all raise a glass to Constance, who brings out the best in Andy, and to Andy for being such a great friend to all of us. Yo!
So, here we are. Constance and Andy's record. You kid, yeah? That's me. I figured Crystal had a Constance moment yesterday. Right? So, and like, what does a 13-year-old know about naming her sister, right? I mean, and the second fun fact is, had Crystal been able to say Gwendolyn, this evening would be called Gwendolyn. And Andy's Gwen. Right? So you met her as Gwendolyn. So children naming children, not a good idea. This is her. She was a rock star from the start, right? It gets better. Yeah, look at her. This is great, yeah? You know, at one point, we thought we had like J-Lo or Beyonce, in the making. But, yeah, you know, the whole like dancing on a pole, Super Bowl 2020 leotard thing didn't quite work out. But luckily, as we've heard, Constance has a super caring personality. She's always been super smart, super driven, super intelligent. That is a classic picture of her, first day of school. That's her graduating from kindergarten. That's her graduating from my graduation. She was a great athlete. And you know, she loves to eat. That's her, a 2-year-old with duck, 3-year-old with duck. That's her feeding Crystal duck. That's me with duck. You know, normal people have birthday cake, or something like this. You know, we had duck. We ate duck. So the fact that she's marrying Andy, who can make her duck 365 days a year, is awesome. And we're thrilled about that. So we also ate cake, chocolate, eggs, a disposable Fujifilm camera. She ate everything. So take good care of her so she never has to eat a disposable camera ever again. She was also very spoiled. She was youngest, baby. This is what happened when she didn't get what she wants immediately. So be warned. Yeah, I'm glad that she finally found someone that can take care of her in every aspect. So you guys have made it. It's a big day, right? And you guys, I have to say, I've watched the both of you grow personally and professionally. I've watched you both support each other in every way possible, and I am so proud of where the both of you are and how you have made yourself better, made each other better. I mean, all of us better in this great environment here. But you guys have really supported each other in every single way possible, both personally and professionally. And I see that it will continue because it's just the beginning of your life, and it's gonna be hard work, right? Take it from someone I've been married 14 years. You know, you gotta keep going. This is the best day of your life. It will only get better, but there will be ups and there will be downs. And when the downs happen, you just have to think about this great day that you have together, and the journey will only keep getting better as long as the two of you stay together. And Andy, it is with great pride that we welcome you into our family, and to know that Constance now has you and that you have us as well. So welcome to our family, and thank you everyone for being here this evening.
Everybody grab your cameras and get it around.
We did it!
thank you again. Our hearts are so full, and we're so grateful that so many of you could make the trip out to celebrate with us on this joyous occasion. We had a lot of family and friends come from all over the states: New York, New Jersey, Texas, Maryland, Oklahoma, California, and of course Washington, and even 2 guests from Tokyo and Taipei. We never imagined in our wildest dreams that we would have so many of you here celebrating with us. So thank you.
Thank you. Eat cake, dance, and be joyous.
Also, table 4 was up here earlier, so the other tables need to step it up.
There will be a prize.